even in batches, yours will come
Yes, sir.
too, or?
Yes, sir. So the reason why we are not patient and anymore, and came out to demonstrate yesterday was that we did a press conference last month. So to call for the facilitation of the administrative process to get us paid. Then, to our surprise, our regional education director went on a local-based TV station called Sagani TV to declare.
I'm losing you on the line. If you could kindly reposition.
Okay, I don't know whether you can hear
yes.
me
You
now.
said when you held the news conference, the regional.
When we held the press conference last month, are you with me, sir?
Yes, I am.
Yes. So when we held the press conference last month, to our surprise, our regional education director, in the name of Mr. Al Hassan Ali Jr., came to declare online on live TV, Sagani TV, that our appointments are fake.
I understand the concern with someone coming to say that your appointment is fake, but genuinely, I ask this question: if you've engaged authorities higher up, and the staff IDs have been coming in batches, does the position of the regional director seek to negate that of the education minister and persons in Accra who you've engaged who say they are working on your staff ID? I'm just asking.
So the understanding I have from my academic experience is that the regional education director is the direct representative of the GES director general in the region. So if the education director, who is in charge of the staff of that region in terms of teachers, gives a declaration, it carries authority. So that is why we are questioning that declaration with the various documents we have.
And since his comments, have you been able to have a sit down with him on his position and laid the document out to him to make him understand that his position is wrong?
Yes. So last 2 weeks, we petitioned his office to give reasons why his declaration is not in line with what we are seeking for, and his declaration is incorrect. So we were expecting him to follow through with the demands in the petition, and he, being busy in his office, organized for a sit-down discussion for us to really present to him our case in terms of documentation, because what he said on TV, he didn't give any document to support his statement.
He didn't give any document to support his statement. And so
Yes,
what
sir.
are you going to do about it? You've been on the
So
streets,
that is
you've
why,
protested.
after petitioning him last 2 weeks, we have demonstrated to the regional minister to call the regional education director to discuss the reasons behind why he made those declarations.
I'm just asking a curious question here again. For the staff IDs that came in batches,
Yes.
what was the interval? What was the duration in terms of intervals for every batch that came?
Every month. That was the interval.
So since October, when the last one came, there hasn't been a new one that's come through yet.
So since the clearance was extended in October, but the ID started trickling in November and December. But in January, no staff ID came for our batch.
In January, no staff ID came. And
Yes,
and
for our batch, especially in the region.
So are you going to return to the offices of the regional director of education to seek to have further conversations?
Yes, we will do that after making a follow-up to the regional minister. Then if he advises, we go back to the regional education director, because we've written to them many times, even before that public declaration he made. We've written to them officially to address this matter, and we never received any letter back declaring that our appointments are fake.
Are you going to escalate this beyond him, since you say you're hitting a roadblock in terms of having your staff IDs granted onto you and you beginning to receive your salaries?
So the escalations will be gradual, and that is what we began yesterday. So from the regional minister, we will wait for his response, and if he's able to solve it, then we stop there. But if he's not able to solve it, then we'll take it up to Accra. We'll go to the GES, the Ghana Education Service headquarters, then to the Ministry of Education. If both cannot still solve it, then we'll go to the president of the country for justice.
Right then. I appreciate you speaking to us this morning, and most certainly I'm sure we will get a bit more from you. There's a curious question being asked whether or not you resort to the law courts if all of this does not go in your favor.
Yes, because if we exhaust all these procedures to no avail, that will be our last resort, sir.
Muftau, I appreciate you speaking to us, and hopefully we can get the regional director to and the documentation. If you could share those with us as well, so that when we are facilitating the conversation, we can do that based on evidence and not just the speeches of what you've been telling us. But I appreciate you speaking to us this morning.
Yes, sir. So I've already shared one with you, which yes, I believe you have seen, and it's normal. Usually, when we go to demand and give evidence for what we really deserve as teachers, most of the time when they call him, he doesn't answer. So I'm not surprised as to what you said.
Right then. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Muftau Malik Adeyemi is president of the Coalition of Unpaid Teachers, the 2023 cohort. In fact, they are the last batch to receive their staff IDs. All their colleagues have received. They are yet to receive. And so they say that the regional director, they're the last batch. He's saying their staff IDs and everything is fake. And it means they are in trouble of not being paid. So,
you know, when some of these issues come up, I always ask, where are the union leaders? You know, they pay union dues.
Yeah.
So what do the union leaders do? There are
For
people who have made it's their life choices. They, we are teachers, we are nurses, we are this, we are that. But they run the union offices. When you go there, you find them there, and they draw allowances or whatever it is that they draw for them. But when they have issues, you see, he was mentioning, regional director was mentioning bringing it to Accra, going to the president. Did you hear him say he would take it to any of the union leaders? But the union leaders are the ones, and when I say it, then they get angry. That at the end of the whole matter, I am not part of your union. You don't pay me your dues. I have a responsibility as a journalist to help in some of these issues.
Yeah, I mean,
but the people who take your dues and whatever it is, you allow them to go. You don't say anything. Then when the year ends, they'll give you key holder and two yards cloth or umbrella and something, and you are okay with it. Then you keep crying and say, journalists, help us, oh, help us, oh, help us, oh.
Meanwhile, the unions are powerful.
They are powerful. The unions, if the unions decide that they are coming together to push an agenda, no government will survive. I remember my days back at Nooks. When Nooks coughs, the country catches cold because the government of the day is so afraid. Today, Nooks and Gaps, they have been politicized. Yeah. There's an MPP part, there's NDC part. So you don't really feel the impact.
It was deliberate to collapse it so that will that.
Oh, it was not
power.
deliberate. The people who benefited from it, right?
Tend to collapse it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The people who benefited from it,
Because some of our very top politicians today,
they all came through it.
Yeah.
Most of them. But you mentioned all the big guys. They all came through it. So why would they collapse something that actually helped them as a stepping stone? But I digress. What the gentleman you spoke with said,
Yeah.
I find it a bit confusing. You had financial clearance.
Said they expired.
You received. How does financial clearance expire? If it's supposed to be for perpetual employment, because you are going to be a teacher, and you have a number of years before you retire. So how did your financial clearance expire?
To be fair to him, he's not the only person who said this. In fact, in other times we've had nurses who receive financial clearance, then they are told it has expired.
No, but the point is that if somebody, and I've had some of those issues, if somebody gives you an appointment letter,
it means that he has created room to employ you.
thank you, but was there financial clearance to the appointment letter? That he did not speak to in full detail, because financial clearance comes from the Ministry of Finance.
Yeah.
In collaboration with
The respective agencies
Thank you.
that you're going to work with and all that.
some of the employments that were made in the last minute were employments that were given to people and they did not have financial clearance for. They did not have. So now if the government doesn't have the purse to be able to take care
It has
of
not
you,
created room for that.
they will
Then-
cut down the number that they can afford at a point. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we do it to ourselves? You are looking for financial clearance. The thing has not come about. Out of desperation, they give you employment letters, and then you take the employment letters, and then when matter starts coming up, you start complaining that am I begging you? Really?
Serious matters for conversation. But like you said, perhaps the union as well should take a bit more interest. The National Union of Ghana National Association of Teachers.
These unions actually deduct the dues from source.
Yes, they don't negotiate with you.
Whether
actually.
you want to pay or not, they deduct from you.
That's why we've been seeing splinter teacher unions.
Everybody now wants to have their voice, but then when they have issues, do they go to the unions?
They'll come to you.
The reason
they'll come to you to bite.
Oh, please.
They'll come to you to bite on their behalf. That's the most important thing. They'll come to you to bite, and then there's a last conversation we're supposed to have. I suspect that's the individual who's been put on the line right now. But the regional director of education,
right,
Al Hassan Alidu Jr. for the northern region, is actually joining us on the, phone lines.
Because the gentleman made an allegation that
straight that in
he doesn't
relation
pick
to
his
him.
calls,
That's
but
why-
he has picked our call.
Yes,
right.
that's even the reason why I asked that the documentation be provided so that when we go to the regional.
Right.
So, Alhaji, good morning to you, and thank you very much for joining us here on the 3FM Sunrise.
Good morning, and good morning to your cherished listeners.
So the coalition of unpaid teachers say you are telling everybody in the northern region that their financial clearance and the appointment letter and everything is fake, and so they don't deserve to be paid. But they say they have received all the necessary and requisite information from every person relevant to their appointments, and yet the government is refusing to pay them. In fact, they've mentioned you directly, and the fact that they've petitioned your office and you have refused to heed their petition or make time to meet them to discuss the issues pertaining to their payment. How do you respond, sir?
Good morning once again. The petition, before even the petition, if they will be good and be frank to tell you people I personally met them several on this issue, and we told them the reality on the ground. But a lot of them have accepted that, and they have moved on. It's only these few who are now going around making those
where the reality is what? You say you've told
the
them the reality
is simple. This it came with appointment letter from headquarters. Unfortunately, on the then I inherited it. There was a miscommunication between an officer who was verifying that and that of the regional director then. So the regional director processed their letters, and all their inputs were sent to Accra. When they send these inputs to Accra, definitely they will be comparing the list we send and the inputs with the master list. And out of that, 312 names were queried. And when these were queried, the then regional director quickly formed a committee at a local level and make them to print out all the master lists that were sent from headquarters. And when that was done, the next line was to compare these 312 query names as against the master list from the corporate email. So when that was checked, they realized that only 35 names were in the query list and at the same time in the master list. So when they have that situation, the 35 were asked to continue teaching and the others stopped. As I indicated earlier, when that directives were given, a lot of them actually stopped. And even with this recent limited recruitment, most of them have even and have secured new appointment, and they are in our schools teaching.
Yeah, they are in the schools teaching.
But this few, I don't know, say they don't want to listen to us. And if they will be frank with you, this what they are doing, most of them, the letters they are holding, and they were bought. So the question is...
you said the letters were bought. The letters they are holding were bought.
Those purported letters they are holding were all bought. And when you... the question is, if you buy something from a person, and you realize that what you bought is not good, what do? Are you not returning to the same person? But these people are not ready to go back to those who give them this appointment, but on GES. But GES is firm on this, because when you check, we cannot do anything outside the master list given.
Right. I just want a bit more clarity, and then we can take this home. These letters you say were bought. When were they bought? Which year were they bought? Was it in the election year of 2024?
That should be around the 2013 recruitment.
2013 or 2023?
Sorry, 2023.
2023 recruitment.
Because I contacted the committee members, and they said through their interaction with the teachers, most of them confirmed they bought those things.
But I hear you and the explanation that you've given, but someone will be curious to ask that. So for the months they worked, they are not going to be paid for that, but rather
No,
they should go and apply.
How do you pay for, should I call it fraud? If you pay for that fraud, but that means you are encouraging that. Or do you want GS to continue to have that problem where people will go behind the door, back door to secure appointment and government continue to pay them?
Right. It's a fantastic point you make, and it will lead me into this question. Means this perhaps will be my final question. So you are aware of the fact that persons are selling GES appointments?
Pardon me?
You are aware of people selling GES appointments to some teachers, which is creating these problems.
It used to, but this time I'm not aware of that.
So that the selling has stopped?
To me, for now, I can say yes, unless there are new revelations to that.
Right. We'll leave the conversation here. We have to let you go. I understand you are at another engagement, and so we'll leave it here, and then we'll come back again when there is enough time.
I'm available 24/7.
Absolutely, Alhaji. I appreciate you speaking to us this afternoon as well here on the 3FM this morning. Alhaji Al-Hassan Alidu Jr. is the GS Regional Director of Education for the Northern Region.
3FM Sunrise.